Good afternoon. The slide is going to stay on for a while. I'll explain why. Today, I am going to be speaking on my journey because a lot of you will reach my age at some point of time. You're all very young right now. Can you hear me? Right, all right. Now, this is a space, it's a journey of saying I am. Now, these are the two words that form the shortest sentence in the English language. And it's one of the heaviest of sentences because what you add after it makes you who you are. And your entire life is a journey of reaching a stage when you can just say, I am. Which means you start at some point and you begin to wonder about success. Everybody wants to be successful in life. And getting to success has different definitions for everybody. When I was in college, or even when I was in school for that matter, success was getting a good job, having the best of education at a great institution. So it was, if you could clinch an IIT, it was a big deal. Well, let me just explain. I studied in a convent school. I had a great education up to 10th grade. And thereafter, I did my college and my pre-university at government schools and a government college. So it doesn't matter where you are. What matters is how you handle where you are. So how you take your opportunities. So here I am, a very snobbish convent-educated girl, getting out of a convent and walking into a government college, which doesn't even have cemented floors. You have teachers who walk in when they feel like, professors who will teach you. And then I thought, what do I do with this? What do I do with my situation? So in college, and as well as my pre-university time, I had two choices. Either I use this to my advantage or crib and cry and stay at home, which really wasn't a choice I wanted. So first lessons, which came a long time before, but it started adding up when I was in college. So I said, hey, I have an edge. I've come from a convent school. I have an edge over the language, and I have an edge over certain subjects that are there. So it gives me an opportunity to excel. The problem is now I decided, yes, I'm going to excel. And then I had to stop being lazy because now I had to maintain that standard for the rest of the term. So that got to be a little tricky. I did it anyway. And in the entire journey to this point, when people ask me, what do you do? I've answered a few of you when I've met you informally. I have fun. That's what I do. I filled up a survey for a certain project a couple of days ago. So they asked me, how many hours do you spend at work? 4 to 5 hours. How many of you would want to spend 4 to 5 hours at work? All hands raised. That's how it goes. So the next question was, how much of personal time do you have for yourself? So I filled it up, 7 to 8 hours. And I felt really good. 7 to 8 hours? The next question was, do you think you have enough? And my only answer was, most people think I have too much time on my hands. I have too much time, but what is time then? Time is something that we have created, people have created, and you are controlling yourself with time. How are you? Come, let's catch up. Time nahi hai. We don't have time. Let's meet up. Oh, we'll make a plan to make some time, to get some time together. And it just goes on and on. And you tend to miss out a lot on life because you are so governed and controlled by time. Getting back to where I started from, I started working at the age of 13. I was teaching 3 months, and I was studying 9 months. So that's how I started. So by the time I was in college, I was additionally doing radio jockeying. I had 4 batches of students coming in, and I was teaching them English at home. And I had 4 batches of them coming in. Some of them were my seniors in college, and they were coming and studying from me. Success. I almost drowned when I was about 7 years old. I joined the Navy. I'm absolutely petrified of water. Success. I had to learn swimming. It took me a long while to learn. But I'm still petrified of water. So what you're filling up on this blank space, it's entirely up to you. You have that choice every day when you wake up in the morning. Am I going to make it a good day? Am I going to make it a bad day? You can't blame it on anybody else. You will make it the way you want to make it. So around the time when I was in college, and by the time I got to the Navy, I started this nice list, bucket list of things I wanted to do in my life. And it took me a while, and I started checking them off very slowly at first. And then last year, somebody asked me, I was having this conversation after a couple of drinks, when you get into that hazy state of profound philosophy for life and things that you've done and not done and want to achieve. They told me, this friend of mine says, man, you've been so successful in life. And I'm like, no, not yet. So like, what not yet? You've done great jobs, and you've achieved so much. I'm like, no, I still have stuff on my bucket list that has to get ticked off. For me, success is ticking things off that bucket list because those are my dreams. Those are things that I want to do. I'm going to get back to that sentence. I am. Success is redefined at every moment in your life. All right? Most of you are on average, I think, 21. Is it 21? 21, 22, 23 max? Barring a few who are younger and barring a few who are older. I am 22 with a couple of years of experience. Let me just put it at that. Which means success for me in those years of experience has redefined itself over and over again. All right? So I'm an ex-naval officer. Yes, I am. I'm a mother too. I am a lot of things. But how do I total it up? How do I sum it up? It just means I am. Because I am in the state where I can be whoever I want to be. I can choose to spend my time the way I want to spend my time. I'm wealthy. My bank balance will be in 4 digits. But I'm wealthy. Why? So success is a curve. And that curve can keep changing over and over again in your life. It depends on your perspective. It depends on your experiences. It depends on what you learn on a daily basis. My coming to this session here today, to this amazing platform, that's an experience. That's also a learning curve. I learned stuff I had no clue about. When I walk out here, I'm a little bit wiser, which means each of you today has also been enriched and become a little wiser. You are not who you were even 10 seconds ago. Can you imagine what you can do with those 10 seconds of your life? You can totally transform yourself if you want to. Procrastination, remember? Great deep thought. So I procrastinate on a daily basis, and this is where I am. So I don't have to retire at the age of 60. What I do today is something what people do after retirement, but I'm glad I'm doing it at a point where I can stand here and speak to you. About 10 months ago, in the month of January, exactly 10 months ago, I had just returned from the hospital. I couldn't walk. I was lying down. I could barely walk, in fact. I had just finished a surgery, so I'm kind of like the Terminator. I've got some metal and screws and stuff on my back. And It didn't stop me because now I have about 70% ability to move around and I use it 100%. What you have to use 100%. It is not about how much money you have in your pocket, what what your father is giving you or what your parents are giving you. Someday you got to build it up for yourself. And you will build it up for yourself with what you have and how you put that to use 100%. I'm not even using 100% actually, to be honest. Someday I will, but then I get lazy, and I'm happy being lazy sometimes, because eventually, what am I doing this for? Myself? So yeah, I'll do what I please. It comes with a certain sense of responsibility. You cannot ignore that, but you have all the time in the world to be able to do that, all right? So we'll get on with the slides. As you continue to grow as a person, perspective, experience, wisdom, and your own individual self, that is going to define what your curve for success is. And success will change for you. You are not limited by what you're studying today. You're not limited by what your peers are putting a pressure on you for. You're not limited by the bubble you live in. That bubble is going to burst. All bubbles burst at a point. So if you're the one pricking it from inside, it works even better because then you're ready for what's outside. But if you're waiting for somebody to burst it for you, you might get a little shocked. So try and push yourself out a little bit. A lot of job advertisements that you will see will ask for thinkers, out-of-the-box thinkers. And your learning curve and your success will be when you know there is no box. Those are all limits. If you're in the box or you are with the box open and you're pouring out of the box, it is still not the limit. You have infinite possibilities in the world, which is totally defined and controlled by you and you alone. Courage. Sometimes that is all you have, and that is all you will need. It is something that will come to you by way of experience, by way of being put in a situation where you don't have choices. And that will be the only choice you have to do. Go ahead and do that which you're required to do and to be able to pull through. So you have to walk the road. Maybe I don't want to walk the road. I don't have to walk the road. But then, is it where you want to stay? If you ask yourself that question, you will take that first step. And trust me, it's just the first step that's required. It's just that dump in the water before you realize, all right, you got to conquer it, you got to get over it and move on, right? Now, faith is what guides you. When I use the word faith, it does not mean religion. No. It means hope. All of you are hopeful. How many of you set alarms to wake up? Which means when you're sleeping, you don't know whether you will die tonight. But you're hopeful of life, so you set your alarm to wake up the next morning. That's hope. It's as simple as that. So be hopeful. Work to your strengths. We are always forever focusing on things that are not our strengths. Parent-teacher meetings. That's the best case example. You go to a parent-teacher meeting and the teacher is pointing out what the child has not done well. How many teachers actually point out what the child has done well? That's so important. When your parent sees your report card, they look for the lowest marks and say, "Ye kya hai? What is this? Why haven't you scored?" They forget that they have specialized teachers for every single subject. And you want the child to master everything? Logic? No, it doesn't work. So focus on what you're strong at, what your passions are, what you're good at. Somebody else is a specialist in what you're not good at. Let them do their job. If you make space for everybody, you'll work together as a team. That's very important in terms of teamwork. Time is relative. It's a simple way of basically tracking yourself, keeping a check on yourself. If you believe that time has been created by humans to just keep a check on yourself, you will find it's very relative. The finest example is the longest minute And the shortest minute is still the same. It still has got 60 seconds. But it depends on which side of the bathroom door you're on, how long it lasts. Time is very relative. Don't be governed by it. You are your own benchmark. Don't compare yourself with anyone else. Why do you want to be a copy when you can be an original? You are all individuals. You're all unique. You have your own unique streak. That is how we differentiate each other. Don't copy somebody else. Be your own competition. If I have to, understand the number of times children get compared to Gupta ji ke bete itne marks leke aaye, your neighbor's son has got that many marks, why haven't you got that? It's the end of it. It can bring you down. Be your own benchmark, compete with yourself. You will become a better version of yourself if you continue to do that. Choose, always choose. Make your own day. You all have the power, like I said, good, bad, ugly, whatever. You can choose and you can change it. Your life is going to be a swirl of drama. Why do I say the word drama? Dynamic drama. That means change is happening everywhere all the time. And you will have changes throughout your life. Now, what you do with your life, what you do with those changes depends on how pliable you are, how adaptable you are. There is drama. Someone will act out a drama of anger. Someone will act out a drama of, being right always. Someone will act out a drama of indignation, emotional blackmail. There'll be all kinds of drama. The only constant thing in life is change, and you have to focus on that. And just be ready for it. That is never going to end. The only certain thing which doesn't change is death. Apart from that, everything else will. The great formula. Errors and mistakes are your learning curves. They are all learning curves. A mistake is an opportunity to learn something and learn it really well. You cannot succeed if you've not made a mistake. Successful people do not succeed until they've made a mistake. And it takes all kinds of people to make this world. I am the universe and I'm just a tiny speck. If you can understand the difference and how important it is, you'll get there. Always have a warm circle of friends. I have a huge circle of friends, and that is the reason why I'm very wealthy. I'm supremely wealthy because of that. I am, and so are each of you. Thank you.